As you guys know, Al-Aqsa is a very holy place for not only Muslims but for Jews as well. Jews believe that where Aqsa is where Prophet Solomon's temple used to be. They believe that it's been destroyed twice and they endeavor to build it on its foundations for the third time, hence the third temple. It's a very holy site for them, and the site will facilitate the coming of, according to them, the Messiah. Evangelical Christians also support them, reason being because they believe that this will facilitate the return of Jesus.
Those sacred cows were showcased in Washington at a recent prayer gathering. Many evangelicals believe these red heifers will usher Christ's second coming.
And that's why there is an institution in Israel that is hell-bent on making sure that this takes place, and that's called the Temple Institute. This notion of building a temple on Aqsa, the third most holiest site according to Muslims, was something that used to be put on the fringes. However, now, with what I'm going to tell you, because of the red cow, this is something that's not only most likely to come into fruition, but to change the global landscape as we know it.
Red heifers, to be precise. Some Jews and Christians believe they're the key to rebuilding the historic Jewish temple in Jerusalem.
So there have been many reports, and it's become somewhat undeniable now, that the Israelis are digging under the Al-Aqsa compound, such that the Qibli Mosque or Dome of the Rock, there have been cracks appearing, and because the site is controlled by Israel, they have to seek permission from Israel even to correct and fix the cracks, which naturally they are going to be denied. So they have been weakening the foundations for a while, but they have not made any decisive moves that they have done in other places. Why? Because of one reason. They did not deem themselves to be worthy, to be pure, and that purity could only be achieved from sacrificing a red cow. Now this is according to their prophecy, which is in Book of Numbers chapter 19, and also the Mishnah tractate Para. But in order to smokescreen what I'm going to describe to you is the catalyst, like the cattle. You see what happened there?
Now's not a good time.
They needed to exaggerate something that took place. Now, I'm sure you came across the headline of the 40 beheaded babies, yeah? And this was proven to not only be false, but categorically false. But some analysts have said, why 40? Because this was their biggest lie. It was here in the UK, it was on the front pages of pretty much every newspaper. But what is the significance of 40? In Judaism, 40 is very significant. If you look in Exodus 24:18, Moses spent 40 days wandering in the mountain. If you look in Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 2, 40 days were spent wandering the wilderness. And Numbers 13:25, Moses sent spies to explore the Canaan for 40 days. And of course, there are 40 days from Elul till Yom Kippur that is considered a time of repentance and reflection. So let's get to this cow. The reason why this cow had not been sacrificed earlier so they can facilitate the building of the temple and the coming of the Messiah, according to them, is because the cow has certain criteria that is very difficult to fulfill. Number one, all red, including the hoofs as well, has to be at least 3 years old plus. It can't be used in labor, like to plow lands and milking and all that sort of stuff. It has to have gone through a natural birth, and there can't be any defects. So naturally, they couldn't find anything like this. They had found cows like this in the past. However, they'd find like a couple of black hairs would come or whatnot. But here in Texas, the United States, they not only found it, they've flown it over as well.
Texas Red Angus, flying them 7,000 miles to Israel.
It is now in a location in occupied Palestine. And they have a specific time. Yeah, a time that they sacrifice it. So this is on the 2nd of the Nisan Hebrew calendar, which ironically falls in April this year, which will probably be on Eid day. And they had to secure a place where they would conduct the sacrifice, and they have already secured that place, which is on Mount Olives.
A massive altar already awaits, where the heifers are to be burned.
They also need tools which they have already made, like a diamond knife. Rocks and artifacts have already been made that they're going to put in the temple. The blueprint of the temple is already there as well. They've got certain rabbis that have to have been born in Jerusalem and they have to fit a certain criteria. They have those as well. So what's going to happen is on this day, they are going to burn the cow, again with certain criteria like cedar wood and this and that, all sorts of stuff. So they're going to burn it, mix it with water, and then purify certain individuals that will be able to go there. So one of two things is going to happen. Either it's going to be a complete takeover and they're going to use another smoke screen and say that, look, there are certain T's that are hiding there with weapons and stuff. It's been used and we're going to have to go in there and we're going to have to dig it out, and oops, a wall's fallen over, oops, we've just created a temple on there. Accidents really do happen, but if you don't accept that it's an accident, you have to firstly condemn Hamas and or you're an anti-Semite. I do believe that there is going to be some smoke screen, but either it's going to be a complete whitewash or it's going to be like the grave of Abraham. There is shared access. Limited access through Muslims. When they go, they have to go through many checkpoints in Hebron, but the access is there, but it's missions getting there. So it will be interesting, guys, but make dua in Ramadan that Allah protects Masjid al-Aqsa. Allah gives hidayah to our leaders. Some say that this will eventually even catalyze to, World War III.